What kind of man could charm a family, win their trust, and then commit acts so horrific they'd haunt a city for decades? Step into the twisted world of Albert Fish, a frail, gray-haired grandfather who hid a monster within, prowling the streets of 1920s New York. Known as the Gray Man, the Werewolf of Wisteria, and the Brooklyn Vampire, Fish was a serial killer, cannibal, and sadomasochist whose crimes against children shocked the nation. From the abduction of a little girl in Manhattan to a chilling letter that broke a mother's heart, his story is a descent into darkness, weaving through abandoned houses, secret obsessions, and a city gripped by fear. Picture a quiet figure shuffling down a street, unnoticed, carrying tools he called his implements of hell. This is the true crime tale of Albert Fish, a name that still chills the blood, and we're diving deep into every gruesome detail to unravel the mind of a predator. In 1870, Washington, D.C., welcomed Hamilton Howard Fish into a family already touched by madness. His father, Randall, a 75-year-old tailor, and mother, Ellen, 43 years his junior, raised him in a home steeped in religious fervor and dysfunction. By age 5, after his father's death, Fish was sent to St. John's Orphanage, where beatings and abuse shaped his young mind. He later said, "I saw so many boys whipped, it ruined my mind, planting seeds of sadomasochism that would define his life." As a teen, he worked as a prostitute, molesting boys, and by 1890, now in New York City, his compulsions grew darker. He married in 1898, fathering 6 children, but his wife's abandonment in 1917 unmoored him further. Fish began hearing voices, believing God commanded him to harm children, his desires spiraling into torture and cannibalism. To him, pain was pleasure, both inflicted and received. He drove 29 needles into his pelvis, a grotesque ritual revealed by X-rays, and beat himself with a nail-studded paddle, sometimes involving his own children in these acts. Fish's crimes were methodical, targeting the vulnerable, often children of color or those with disabilities, believing they'd be less missed. In 1924, he stalked 8-year-old Francis McDonnell in Staten Island. A neighbor saw the boy follow a gray-haired man into the woods, where Francis was later found, strangled with his own suspenders, beaten, and mutilated. His mother, Anna, described the killer as the Gray Man, a name that stuck. That same year, Fish tried to lure 8-year-old Beatrice Keel from her family's farm, offering money to pick rhubarb, but her mother chased him off. In 1927, he abducted 4-year-old Billy Gaffney from a Brooklyn tenement hallway. Fish later confessed to tying the boy up, torturing him with a cat-o'-nine tails, and consuming his body, even drinking his blood. The city was on edge, parents clutching their children closer, as the Gray Man vanished into the shadows, his crimes unsolved for years. The case that defined Fish's infamy began on May 28, 1928, in Manhattan. Posing as Frank Howard, a kindly farmer, Fish answered a newspaper ad placed by 18-year-old Edward Budd, seeking farm work. Fish visited the Budd family's apartment, charming them with gifts and promises of employment. His plan was to kidnap Edward, mutilate him, and leave him to bleed out, but meeting 10-year-old Grace Budd changed everything. Her innocence captivated him, and he spun a lie about a niece's birthday party, convincing her parents, Delia and Albert Sr., to let her go with him. Grace, in her Sunday best, followed Fish to Wisteria Cottage, a derelict house at 359 Mountain Road in East Irvington, New York. There, in a scene too horrific to imagine, he stripped naked, called her upstairs, and strangled her as she screamed. Over 9 days, he dismembered and consumed her body, later boasting, "It took me 9 days to eat her entire body." She died a virgin. The Budds, heartbroken, clung to hope she was alive, unaware of the monster they trusted. For 6 years, Grace's disappearance baffled police, led by Detective William King. Fish, arrested multiple times for petty crimes like larceny and sending obscene letters, slipped through the cracks. In 1930, Bellevue Hospital deemed him abnormal but sane, missing the depth of his depravity. His fatal mistake came in November 1934 when he sent a letter to Grace's mother, detailing her daughter's murder in grotesque detail. The envelope bore the emblem of the New York Private Chauffeurs Benevolent Association. A janitor admitted taking the stationery to his rooming house at 200 East 52nd Street, where Fish had lived until days earlier. Detectives intercepted a letter from Fish's son, waiting for him to collect it. On December 13, 1934, Fish walked into their trap, calmly confessing to Grace's murder and others, smiling as he described his acts. Police unearthed Grace's skull and bones near Wisteria Cottage, along with a saw, cleaver, and knife, his implements of hell. Fish's trial began on March 11, 1935, in White Plains, New York, under Judge Frederick P. Close. His defense, led by former Mayor James Dempsey, argued insanity, citing Fish's fetishes, sadism, masochism, cannibalism, and more, documented by psychiatrists like Frederick Wortham, who called them a psychiatric phenomenon. Fish claimed voices from God urged him to kill, but prosecutor Elber Gallagher painted him as a cunning predator, not a hapless lunatic. The jury, unmoved by tales of needles and divine commands, found him sane and guilty after 10 days. Sentenced to death, Fish was executed on January 16, 1936, at Sing Sing's electric chair, reportedly saying, "I don't even know why I'm here." Rumors that he saw the chair as the ultimate thrill were later debunked, but his calm demeanor chilled all who witnessed it. At 65, he was Sing Sing's oldest execution. A monster finally stopped. The true scope of Fish's crimes remains a mystery. He boasted of children in every state, claiming over 100 victims, though only 3 murders, Grace Budd, Francis McDonnell, and Billy Gaffney, were confirmed. Detectives suspected 5 to 15 killings, with Wortham and others believing abandoned houses across New York hid more horrors. Fish's choice of marginalized victims, black, disabled, or poor, made investigations harder, as he predicted. His letters, filled with grotesque details, taunted families and police, while his self-harm, 29 needles lodged in his groin, revealed a man consumed by pain. The press dubbed him the Moon Maniac, Brooklyn Vampire, and Boogeyman, names that fuel nightmares. His crimes, blending religious delusion and sadomasochism, were so perverse that even seasoned investigators recoiled, one calling him the devil himself. This tale grips us because it exposes the terror of the ordinary. Fish, small and unassuming, blended into crowds, his kindly facade masking a predator. His crimes, committed in a bustling New York just 45 minutes from Wisteria Cottage's wooded isolation, shattered the illusion of safety. The Bud's trust, the police's misses, and Fish's ability to evade capture for years reveal how evil can hide in plain sight. His story lingers in Irvington, where the cottage, now valued at $1.4 million, stands as a grim landmark, its stunning period detail overshadowed by Grace's fate. Fish's legacy is a warning. Monsters don't always look the part, and their shadows stretch long. To walk in the world Fish haunted, visit the Greenburgh Town Hall, where records from a 1920s capture the era's rural life and the investigation's impact. The Westchester County Historical Society in Elmsford holds archives of the period, including court documents from Fish's trial. The Sing Sing Prison Museum in Ossining offers exhibits on its history, including the electric chair that ended Fish's life. These sites anchor you to a time when the gray man walked free, a chilling reminder of his crimes. As we leave Wisteria Cottage's shadow, imagine Grace Budd's trusting smile, stolen by a monster who saw her as prey. Albert Fish's story is a dark chapter of Northeast lore, a tale of deception, horror, and a city's awakening to evil. Was he a madman driven by voices, or a calculating killer who chose his mask? Let us know in the comments. What chills you most about Fish's crimes? Like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more Northeast legends. Stay curious, and maybe watch the faces on those quiet streets. Thanks for watching.